A colossal gamble, Hitler turns east. Operation Barbarossa, launched on June 22, 1941, was the largest military invasion in history. Nazi Germany, already dominant in Europe, unleashed its might on the Soviet Union, its former ally. Over 3 million German soldiers, alongside Axis allies, surged across a front from the Baltic to the Black Sea. Their objective? The swift conquest of the Soviet Union and the annihilation of its communist regime. Hitler believed in a swift victory, confident that the Red Army would crumble under the Wehrmacht's might. The initial German onslaught, characterized by lightning-fast armored thrusts and overwhelming air power, seemed unstoppable. This invasion, fueled by Nazi ideology and expansionist ambitions, marked a turning point in the war. It transformed the conflict into a global struggle, with the Soviet Union emerging as a crucial front against Nazi Germany. Early triumphs and the illusion of victory. The initial phase of Operation Barbarossa unfolded with devastating effect. German forces, employing blitzkrieg tactics, achieved stunning breakthroughs. Soviet forces, caught off guard and hampered by poor leadership, reeled under the onslaught. Massive encirclements, like the one at Minsk, netted hundreds of thousands of Soviet prisoners. The Luftwaffe dominated the skies, decimating Soviet airfields and disrupting communication lines. The rapid German advance masked underlying problems that would eventually prove fatal. Hitler's strategic miscalculations, like diverting forces from Moscow, contributed to the growing crisis. The blitzkrieg stumbles logistics and the Russian winter. As summer waned, the German offensive encountered fierce resistance. The Red Army, though battered, was far from defeated. Millions of Soviet soldiers were mobilized, and the vast industrial resources of the Soviet Union were brought to bear. The arrival of the brutal Russian winter compounded the Wehrmacht's logistical problems. German troops, ill-equipped for the harsh conditions, suffered from frostbite and hypothermia. Tanks and vehicles froze, and supply lines ground to a halt. The blitzkrieg faltered in the face of these obstacles. The Red Army, reinforced and equipped for winter warfare, launched counterattacks, turning the tide. The Red Army's resilience from retreat to counteroffensive. The Battle of Moscow, launched in late 1941, marked a turning point. German forces, exhausted after months of fighting, made one final push towards the Soviet capital. They were met by determined Red Army defenders fighting with tenacity. The Germans, hampered by the cold and Soviet resistance, were driven back in defeat. The myth of German invincibility lay shattered. The Soviet victory boosted morale and shattered German hopes for a swift victory. The Red Army, hardened by combat, launched a series of counter-offensives. The Germans, on the defensive, were forced into a protracted war of attrition. Barbarossa's failure, a turning point in the war. Operation Barbarossa, Hitler's gamble to conquer the Soviet Union, ended in catastrophic failure. The Wehrmacht, initially triumphant, was ultimately defeated by the Red Army's resilience, logistical challenges, and the harsh Russian winter. The invasion forced Germany into a two-front war, draining resources needed in the West. The Soviet Union emerged as a global superpower, shaping the post-war world. Hitler's hubris led to one of the most devastating military defeats in history. The lessons of Barbarossa continue to resonate in the 21st century.